Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hello, hello. You guys ready for this? All right. Hey guys, what's going on? Good afternoon. This is hashtag TNT Joe5. Tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. This is episode something something because I lost count, and this is also day something something in quarantine because I lost count. How's it going, everyone? If you're not in the afternoon time frame, good morning or good evening to everyone else around the world. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope your phones are working. Yesterday in chat, somebody had asked about if cell service was working, and that was new for me. I didn't notice. And then after I got off the stream, I had a bunch of texts from people asking me, hey, is there something wrong with our phone service? And then that's when I realized there was actually something going on with T-Mobile. So we'll talk about T-Mobile today. We're going to talk about this outage. There's really not much to talk about it except it got messed up. And now it's fixed. But anyway, let me just go through chat here real quick. Yocasta Castillo, I thought you were doing a fast live. LOL, hi nonetheless. Yocasta, I appreciate you still stopping by and saying hello. It's still very nice of you to come in and at least say hi and say what's going on. Glad you could make it, even if it's just for a little bit. I'll do a fast, a live streaming fast one day. I just don't know when. We'll see. Maybe when I hit 1,000 subs on my other channel. Anyway, Paul Hendricks. Hi, all. Hey, Paul. How's it going, man? Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you being in the stream again, as always. Nice to see you. And Brian, TNT Joe5 Outage Edition. This isn't an outage, although right now, I think there's only a couple people here in chat, so it kind of looks like an outage. Feel like, oh, well, no, there we go. Numbers are starting to go up. I think we just need people to start seeing it's live and coming in. But Here we go. George with the $2 super chat and no words to say with that. George, I haven't seen you in a minute. I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for coming into the stream. Glad you had some time to come in and say hi. And I mean, even more than say hi with a $2 super chat with no words. But I'm assuming that you're saying hello, and I appreciate you supporting me, George. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat. I will be sure to add you on the intro and outro of the live stream for June super chatters. So George, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let me see here. Team Varai is in here as well. Team Varai just finished working on content for my channel, and now I'm here to relax and talk tech. Hey Jerome. Hey everyone. Hope y'all are having a good day. Team Varai, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being in the stream again. I need to check your channel out and see what's going on there. You're always in here and you're always supporting, and I have to be better about it. It's just I have 8 million things going on at once. But Team Varai, thank you for stopping by. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Team Varai, I watched the KFC console reveal with the what is it? What did they call it? The chicken chamber. Yeah, and I see them trying to like promote it on Instagram too. Like they have it next to a Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5. It was pretty good. I like the little bucket as the console. I thought it was pretty funny. George is saying, been recovering and completing my move back to Chattanooga. Well, I'm glad, George. Hopefully everything's been going well. We'll have to catch up. Keep me posted, but hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going okay. And you can always talk to me if you ever need anything, George. So feel free to hit me up whenever. Tobez Nwajagu. What's up, guys? Tobez, I haven't seen you in a minute. How's it going? Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's see. Let's start. Let's talk about the outage, this T-Mobile outage. So this article from Engadget is talking about T-Mobile outage finally ends after more than 12 hours. T-Mobile confirmed a widespread routing issue caused problems on Monday. And if you see here, here's the map of where it was affected. And here's the thing. So I'm assuming people who aren't in the States didn't get affected unless you were trying to call people in the States. But I'd assume you would be using some kind of like not cell service, right? You'd be using internet to contact because I'm sure it costs more money using cell service. But I think a lot of people in the US, even though you might not have T-Mobile, if you have AT&T or Verizon, you were still impacted in some type of way if you were trying to get in touch with anybody using T-Mobile service or T-Mobile MVNO service, whatever other carriers are using T-Mobile's network. So I'm sure people were affected regardless. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much into it. And I don't have a ton of stories today. So I always feel like I always say I don't have a ton of stories, but I'll go through chat. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about whatever. And if we run out of stories, then I'll make stories up. Just kidding. T-Mobile's network is having an issue with voice and data service. And again, I didn't notice until after the stream yesterday. And when I got a bunch of texts saying, hey, something wrong with our phone service. And then I had to Google into it. And then I just saw that, T-Mobile, or at the time, I think everybody was saying all the carriers are having issues because I don't think they could pinpoint who was actually having an outage. So some people were unable to make or receive calls. Wi-Fi calling still seems to work. And I noticed it. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until yesterday. I was trying to log into my Patreon and it wanted to give me a verification, like text, and the texts weren't coming in. And I didn't think of it. I was like, why are my texts not coming in? And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So anyway, there are problems with data service too. T-Mobile's president of technology, Neville Ray, confirmed the issue and said the company's engineers are working to resolve them. While there were also smaller outage report spikes for Sprint, which has merged with T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and US Cellular, the issue seems to be only on T-Mobile's side. So the update was saying the outage is still unresolved, and that was late last night. And then at around 1:22 Eastern time yesterday, it says, according to T-Mobile president of technology, Neville Ray, voice and text services are now restored, despite rumors of DDoS targeting various internet companies of cities. So I don't know if I have that as an article too. A lot of people were thinking that there was some kind of hacking involved where people were flooding, I guess, the cell towers or services or what have you, flooding the network, but apparently that wasn't the case. So they were saying that it was more of a boring uh, reality of what actually happened, and then a bunch of other texts. I'm not really going to go through all of that. So let me see here. Okay, so I highlighted this specific paragraph saying Forbes senior contributor Davey Winder has reported that the outages did in fact stem from T-Mobile, and there is no current evidence of a coordinated cyber attack. In a statement issued, they're saying that starting just after 12 p.m. Eastern and continuing throughout the day, they've been experiencing voice and text issue that has intermittently impacted customers in markets across the U.S. It's an IP traffic related issue that has created significant capacity issues in the network core throughout the day. So I wanted to put all of that together because I wanted to get into this. This article from Ars Technica is talking about T-Mobile's outage yesterday was so big that even Ajit Pai is mad. If you're not aware of Ajit Pai, he is a former Verizon, either a higher up exec. I do not care for Ajit Pai at all. I know George is in this stream, so I will keep the curse words in my head for now until I get really upset. But Ajit Pai is now the FCC, the chair, the head, whatever you want to call it, of the FCC, who was appointed by Trump, for really not for the people, but more for corporations. And so it says here, they're kind of mocking it, saying that even Ajit Pai is mad, because typically he wouldn't be mad because he's for these big companies and like they get away with everything. But it says here, but Pai's FCC has a history of letting carriers off easy. And that's also by relaxing a lot of these regulations, letting companies have their way. That's why net neutrality, has become an issue, because Ajit Pai was at the helm of that, and it was like, no, let us corporations make all the rules, and everything's gonna be fine. Anyway, T-Mobile's network suffered an outage across the U.S. yesterday, and the FCC Commission is investigating. Ajit Pai, who takes an extremely hands-off approach to regulating telecom companies, used his Twitter account to say the T-Mobile network outrage is unacceptable and that the FCC is launching an investigation. We're demanding answers, and so are American consumers. To hear Ajit Pai say that, and the American consumers, I'm like, you do not care, sir. You do not care about the American consumers. No matter what the investigation finds, Pai may be unlikely to punish T-Mobile or impose any enforceable commitments. For example, an FCC investigation last year into mobile carriers' response to Hurricane Michael in Florida found that carriers failed to follow their own previous voluntary roaming commitments, unnecessarily prolonging outages. Pai himself called the carrier's response to the hurricane, quote, completely unacceptable, just like he did with yesterday's T-Mobile outage. Yet what's going to happen? Probably nothing. But Pai's FCC imposed no punishment related to the bad hurricane response and continued to rely on voluntary measures to prevent recurrences. Here's the thing about this. To be fair, I haven't had an outage on my T-Mobile service in forever. Is it the best service? No. Especially when I go outside of the city, it's not the best service. But at this point, it needs to be super reliable, because a lot of us aren't using any kind of like wired landlines or whatever anymore. Perfect case in point is my mom and my uncle and my other aunts and uncles who live with my mom were freaking out yesterday because none of the phones were working. And yeah, they text here and there, but really they're still like old school, still making phone calls. They don't use like Hangouts They don't use Telegram, although I have my mom using Telegram with me, but everyone else she contacts, it's just regular SMS, texting, and phone service. And my mom was freaking out, and she was like, what are we going to do? We can't call anyone. I'm like, Mom, but do you see what I'm saying? So yes, that's anecdotal. They're an older demographic, but that still doesn't excuse the kind of panic that can happen. And so if there is no real, slap, if it's just a slap in the hand and no real punishment, who's to say what big of a deal it is? Do you think if they knew that there was going to be bigger outrage about it or a higher fine, then maybe they would take a more cautious approach? Now, I'm not saying what happened was lackadaisical. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe there would be a little more caution into what they were doing if it was just a simple mistake. That's all I'm saying. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents as to how I feel about it. Again, you guys, for the guys that are here regularly on my stream, you guys know I was really upset last week when I went off about cable companies, and then I went off about telecoms as well. So you guys know how I feel about that stuff. You know how I feel about competition. I feel like more competition is really more is a lot more beneficial to the consumer than having one or two companies control everything. But yeah. So anyway, let's see here. But Pi's FCC imposed no punishment related to the bad hurricane response and continued to rely on voluntary measures to prevent recurrences. I said that already. T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert confirmed the outage in a blog post. So here's the thing. And so they don't, oh, sorry, I meant to make this bigger here. T-Mobile mistake may have caused the outage. It may have been self-inflicted when T-Mobile was making network configuration changes. Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince last night tweeted that T-Mobile was making some changes to their network configurations today. Unfortunately, it went badly. The result has been, for around the last 6 hours, a series of cascading failures for their users, impacting both their voice and data networks. The T-Mobile problem was almost certainly entirely of their own team's making. So again, was it a lackadaisical thing? Was it just like a oops? Well, that's okay. Everyone's going to, have to suffer for now, but like small mistake on our end. Sorry, everybody who needs phone service at this point, you're going to have to deal with it. I'm trying to stay civilized here and not go off the handle, so I won't. The T-Mobile outage was so large that it apparently caused some people to think other carriers and websites were down too. Business Insider, and that was like my mom and my other family members felt the same way. They were just kind of like, what is going on? Like, we can't. And I'm just here. I don't even notice because I'm using Telegram for everything or Hangouts, and everything's working fine in that respect. And I had no idea. Anyway, don't expect much FCC action. Mobile voice services like T-Mobile's are still classified as common carrier service under Title II of the Communications Act, but the FCC under Pi deregulated the home and mobile broadband industry and has taken a hands-off approach to ensuring resiliency in phone networks. Doesn't that make you feel better? That makes me feel so much better that there's no real regulation on how a lot of this can work when I am completely dependent on my cell phone as, my primary way of communicating. None of us have landlines. I just turned off my mom's landline, about 2 months ago or so. Something that she's always depended on when her cell service didn't work. Again, cell service has been very reliable, at least in my case. It's also because I live in Chicago and I'm in a big city, and coverage is probably better there. But anyway, this is once again where pretending that broadband is not an essential telecommunications service completely undermines the FCC's ability to act. We're not talking about an assumption that T-Mobile necessarily did anything wrong, but when we have something this critical to the economy and where it is literally life and death for people to have the service work reliably, it's not about trusting the market or expecting companies to be on their best behavior. We as a country need to know what is the reality of our broadband networks, the reality of their resilience and reliability, and the reality of what happens when things go wrong. That takes a regulator with real authority to go in, ask hard questions, seize documents if necessary, and compel testimony under oath. I'll leave this here as the very last point, at least in the way I think about it, is if anything, there should have been some sort of contingency, some backup, some like, hey, if I pull this plug or if I switch this to whatever or whatever they're doing, behind the scenes, there needs to be a backup in place. And obviously there wasn't one because of the intermittent issues, or maybe there was one and that was the best that they could do to keep the network going. That's really all I have to say. That's how I feel about it. I'm glad that it wasn't days long, and I'm glad that it wasn't, awfully like late in getting communications. But I will say this too. So yesterday, I got a text, I think in the late morning, about a job interview, and I replied back and I was like, what is this for? Because I didn't know who it came in for, or who it came in from. The number wasn't familiar. I don't know if they got my number from someone else or whatever, but they responded to that text at like 9:40 p.m. And I know they didn't respond that late. It's just because of the networks. And that's how long it took to get that response back. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I had texted them. I'm sure all of you have similar stories or something similar happening where, you were relying on your phone and something happened, but yeah. So, okay, let me get back into chat here. Let me say hi to other people I didn't have, or that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. So sorry. Feel free to stop by the channel anytime. I will, Team Varai. Also, the KFC console was indeed something. George says my phone reception finally came back at 11:45 last night. Yeah, look at how late that was. Jeez. Yeah, Brian saying Google Fi was not working. Yeah, Google Duo worked fine. Yeah, it's a long time to be without service. Team Verizon says, not sure if it was related, but people reported being unable to access Facebook and Instagram around the same time. I know, that's really interesting. I saw that too. People were talking about certain websites or whatever, and I just don't know if it was related or if it was just because the service was down and that's what they were trying to get to at the time. So they kind of maybe like connected those two to, I don't know. But yeah, maybe it could. Tim Schumann. Tim, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Tim is a Patreon, and so he's part of my private Discord, and he's like, hey, you need to alert people when you're streaming. And I'm just like, Tim, I stream every weekday at 2 p.m. Central, but I get it. Tim makes a good point. Yeah, Tim, my man. Okay. Let's see here. George is saying Eleanor and I tried Facebook Messenger call, but not so good. Duo was much better. Well, there you go. So maybe there was issues. Maybe there were issues with Facebook. I don't know. So let me see. George is saying landline. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Deepak Murthy. Hey guys. Hey Deepak, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Glad you could make it again. Always nice to see you. Tim saying, I think Comcast for the first time in history has competition for most hated business in the US. Yeah, I think so. I think it's up there. Police unions. I don't even really want to get into that right now. Let's see here. Paul says, that's why I think the Huawei ban is so bad. Look at their hardware. Yeah, actually, I have an article with Huawei today, too. Actually, it's the next story. So we'll get into that, too. George says, I checked the other day and Comcast stays in the top 20 most hated companies in America every year. Yep, doesn't surprise me. Okay, so yeah, Brian says the Dayton network probably got hammered by everyone. I was trying to update my car registration online, which wasn't going well. Yeah, I mean, think of that cascading effect too, right? So you can't. That's actually a really good point. You can't use your phone, right? You can't make a phone call. So where do you go? You go on the internet. So now you're going to congest another stream of getting into somewhere because you can't use regular phone service where typically then some data would some of that congestion would go elsewhere, but now you're congesting one entire network because the phone service isn't working. Again, this needs to be just like, businesses are essential. This needs to be a very essential, reliable option for people. I'm not saying that it's awful right now, but obviously we need some better regulation to control a lot of this stuff. So, okay. I know, not the nicest of stories, not the most like fun to talk about, but before I continue, for everybody in the chat, first of all, thank you everybody for saying hi and saying what's up and being part of the chat and the community. I always appreciate it. But real quick, if you guys are watching or you're lurking behind the scenes, I see you lurking. I'm looking at you. I know you're lurking right now and you're watching me and you're like, shit, he's talking to me. Anyway, real quick, I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't see anybody. I see my camera. That's all I'm looking at. Real quick, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please like the stream. Liking the stream helps me in an algorithmic kind of way, aka I think it helps people find the stream. If you haven't, feel free to say hi in the chat. It's always nice to say hi to some new names, and I was going to say new faces, but I can't see your face unless your avatar is in there, and then I still have to wonder if that's really you or not. But feel free to say hi. If you're not aware, I stream weekdays at 2 p.m. So Monday through Friday, I stream at 2 p.m. And if you want to make sure that you're here, consider being a subscriber. Please be a subscriber. I'm not going to beg, but consider being a subscriber. That's just another way to support me, which is great. And last but not least, if you see anybody in the chat stream and they have green in their name, that is because they are a part of the, I'm trying to remember how I say it, the Phone Jerome fam. And you could be one too. You'll get the green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago Star badge. You will get custom emoji. And actually, I have a new one that I need to add. And you can do all of this for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click that join button. There are other tiers as well that give you different perks, but you could do so again for as little as 99 cents a month. Just click that join button. If you can't find it, you can also go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. And that's it for my marketing spiel. Again, guys, it's just a way to support if you can. If you can't, I totally understand as well. And it's all good. I'm just, I'm putting that out there for anybody, that wants to kind of support in that way. And I do want to thank everybody, especially yesterday, for all the new members, all the super chats. And speaking of super chats, Brian with the $1 super chat, continuing his streak of 70 something super chats in a row. I'm pretty sure, still haven't counted, but Brian, thank you again for the support. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for always going that extra mile in supporting the channel, being a moderator, welcoming people, and doing the moderating stuff. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, let's move on here. Let's talk about Huawei, since we have that as our next story. So the U.S. is softening its stance on Huawei, allowing cooperations on 5G standards. Now, this doesn't mean that everything is lifted. Let's kind of get that out of the way here. This is just about 5G. So the saga between the United States and the Chinese manufacturer Huawei took an unexpected turn after the U.S. Commerce Department announced it'll allow some cooperation with American companies. Although Huawei will remain on the entity list, now an amendment will allow American companies to disclose U.S. technologies to the Chinese telecom giant without requiring a license if it is for the purpose of 5G standards development. So I think that's the only thing. The Commerce Department announcement states that this amendment is meant to ensure that while Huawei remains on the entity list, it will not prevent American companies from contributing to important standards developing activities despite Huawei's pervasive participation in standards development organizations. I read that and it's just like, yeah, US, we do the best and the brightest things. And we all know, well, I won't say we all know. I feel like there's a little backdoor politics behind the ban on Huawei to think that the US is just banning Huawei for, whatever sensitive privacy. I'm pretty sure that it is not the case. what about all of these other companies that we are questioning right now? But that's for another day. So Wilbur Ross from the U.S. Department of Commerce said the United States will not cede leadership in global innovation. That just sounds funny to me because we stunt the growth of our technological advances so much with all of our petty back and forth issues that we don't address. But again, for another day, I really am just not really wanting to get into all of that politics right now. This action recognizes the importance of harnessing American ingenuity to advance and protect our economic and national security. Analysts revealed that currently leading infrastructure vendors are not from the US. They're from Huawei, from China, Ericsson from Sweden, and Nokia from Finland. These three companies made more significant contributions to 5G standards than other companies. And if that doesn't, yeah, I'm just like looking at the comments here, and they're already getting into it. But yeah, just that last sentence alone, talking about how these other companies that aren't from the US are really the ones that are pushing forward with a lot of this stuff. But take it for what it is. Yeah. So okay, I see Santosh Hembram. Am I saying that right, Santosh? Hi, Santosh. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Glad you can make it. I don't think I've seen you here before, so if you're new, welcome. Nice to see you. Paul says, "Huh? Makes zero sense. If anything, it's sketchy at all. It's their 5G." There you go. George says, "I suspect there's a lot of backdoor politics with Huawei." Mm-hmm. Politics will never tell us little people the truth. Well said, George. Well said. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. Ronaldo De Leon. What's up, Jerome? What's up, Ronaldo? How's it going, man? Glad you can make it to the stream. Nice to see you. It's been a minute. Glad you can make it. I saw you on Discord earlier, so I'm glad you were able to stop by and say hi. Nice to see you, man. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and let's move on. That was just my little tidbit on Huawei and what's going on right now with them. By the way, I really want to get that Huawei P40 Pro Plus, but I don't want to spend $1,600, but I still want to get it. And maybe that'll happen, but we'll see. So moving on. Have you guys heard about this? Qualcomm Snapdragon 775G could be announced on June 17th. Oh, that's tomorrow. This is new news with substantial CPU and GPU improvements. So, okay, let's kind of unpack this. I think yesterday I was trying to find the word unpack and I said unravel, but let's try to unpack this now that I remember what word I was trying to say. So, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 775G. There's already the 765G that is supposedly coming on the Pixel 5, that's currently in the LG Velvet, that's currently on the Poco F2. Wait, yeah, the Poco F2? I'm not sure now. I'll have to double check. Motorola Razr 2, I think that's coming out, and just a bunch of other phones. This Snapdragon 765G is reportedly coming to a bunch of, I guess if you want to call it mid-range phones, or not the high-end chipset like the 865 Snapdragon processor. But not too long ago, we just heard that there was another upgraded 765G coming out called the 768G, which is an overclocked version of the 765G. And we don't know what that's coming. Like, we don't know what phones that's going to be coming out for. I think they might have had a list, but it already now made the Snapdragon 765G outdated in a way. And it also made a lot of us sit here and, think to ourselves, well, hopefully Google will put the 768G now in the Pixel 5. But here we go. Now we're talking about a Snapdragon 775G. And maybe this is what they should be putting into the Pixel 5. Will they? I don't know. Will they ever have a Pixel 4a? I don't know. Will the Pixel 5 be delayed? Maybe. We don't know with Google. I was talking to Will yesterday. What did Will say? I wish I remember. He had texted me and anyway, it was kind of just a snap at Google. Anyway, so this Snapdragon 775G, it was back in December 2019 that Qualcomm announced. Sorry, let me switch this back here. that Qualcomm announced its most affordable 5G chipset dubbed as the Snap 765G, and now it seems Qualcomm is poised to announce a successor, as the chipset maker has scheduled another Snapdragon launch event for June 17, which is tomorrow. So I wasn't even aware of this. So we'll talk about this tomorrow if it hasn't been announced, or if it got announced before I do the stream. That's a lot of chipsets coming out. I hope that the Pixel 5 isn't done, and maybe this is a plug and play chipset that they could put, because that would be awesome to see something, with a little more power, a better GPU, just better performance overall. So that, and I don't say it because I want the highest performing chipset, but sometimes I talk about it because I talk about longevity. I talk about people who might own a Pixel 5 for the next 3 years, maybe 4 years, and they still want it to be snappy. They still want it to be serviceable, like through the end of its life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting that, which is why I kind of push for more power out of these. That's why people have said to me, like, well, you don't need an 865. I might not. But imagine the people who have a Snapdragon 845 chipset who are still running it years long, years down the road or whatever. They still want something that's going to perform well. And that's probably why they're sticking with higher end phones, because they know that they can have it for the long haul. Sometimes you buy a mid-range phone, or a phone that doesn't perform as fast as these higher end phones, and you might not get the same longevity out of it. So you kind of have to think about, when you're buying a phone, sometimes the question too is, how long do you think you're going to keep it for? How long is that support important to you when it comes to updates? And how well will it work after it gets the new OS year after year? Well, after year, when it comes to Pixels, usually it's just year after year for Samsung and other companies, unless you're like LG and you get 1 year of updates, sometimes 2, just depends. So sorry, I know I kind of went off, or not really went off, just off topic. But so reports suggest that the new chip will be named as the Snap 775G, although it could be something else as well. It is also being reported that Xiaomi will be one of the first, if not the first, to make use of the newest 5G chip. The new chip is said to bring improvements in CPU and GPU by 40% and 50% respectively. Those are pretty big marks, while also getting Vulkan-related graphics improvements. The chip's internal code name is SM7350, expected to use 4 Cortex A77 large cores, leading to substantial performance gains. In comparison, the 765G uses 2 Cortex A76 cores. So already there's a big performance improvement in this 775G. I would much rather have this 775G in the Pixel 5 than whatever the 765G is going to come with, because it already sounds super outdated. I mean, the Pixel 5 is not out yet. Google, I know you're not listening to me, and I know you couldn't care less about what I have to say, but if for any reason, if anyone that works at Google gets word of this, and it's easy as plug and play or whatever, why not put the 775G in there? Like, do it for me. I mean, we're tight, right? I've known you for a while. I bought your phones for a bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm obviously very comfortable in front of the camera lately. So interestingly, reports suggest that it could be built on the 6 nanometer architecture, making it the most powerful mid-range chipset in its portfolio. This would be the first time Qualcomm employs the 6 nanometer process. In addition, it is possible that we could see a Snap 865 Plus version similar to last year's iterative Snap 855 Plus upgrade. However, nothing is confirmed yet. Whatever the case, we expect a new 5G chipset to launch for sure, and this will likely lead to the current 5G crop of SoCs to become cheaper. That's also a really good point. It'll make the other chipsets cheaper, hence making way for even more affordable 5G phones. There have been rumors that Qualcomm is also working on 5G chips in the 6 series. However, their exact launch time frame is not yet known. So, yeah, I'm excited in a way. I'm only excited because I'm hoping that it's going to come on phones that I want to see it come out for. But knowing Google and knowing their track record, I mean, how long did I go off yesterday on the Pixel 4a being delayed until almost October? Maybe that's the rumor. Not happy about that, but it also gives me very little hope that the Pixel 5 is going to have anything better than a Snap 765G. Probably not a 768G, probably not this new 775G, which, if those numbers are correct, should be a lot better and probably better performing than like maybe a 2-year-old Snap 800 series, maybe. But we'll see. That's as much hope as I can give Google at this point. Okay. Let me get into chat here. Yeah, Ronaldo's saying it's been a crazy 24 hours with a lot with T-Mobile. I know. Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's kind of unfortunate. George says the Pixel 4a is a unicorn. You might be spot on with that statement. Whenever it comes out, and if it comes out in that blue color, that'll be the unicorn. That'll be the unicorn. Paul is saying, Jerome, don't. P40 Pro Plus, you will not be able to sell it. I know, Paul, but the camera is supposedly better than the iPhone 11 Pro. Does that mean I should buy it? Probably not. But I still want to see if a phone, I want Paul. Here's the thing. I want a phone that can beat the iPhone 11 Pro in the camera department, and I want to see it done. But you're right. I will probably be wasting my money. You're absolutely right. And then what am I going to do with that P40 Pro? Nothing, because I can't use Gmail or Google Maps. I mean, maybe they'll mod it later. I don't know. So I don't know. Anyway, Brian says Google doesn't give a poop emoji. Jay Mill, what's good, Rome? Not much, Jay Mill. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. That's 2 days in a row. Look at Jay Mill coming in here back to back. I like it. Welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Glad you can make it. Everything's good. Staying busy. Got a lot of work coming down the pipeline, guys. Hopefully it doesn't affect what I'm doing now as far as streams. It shouldn't, but I have a lot of work coming down the line. I just signed I guess you could call it a contract for some other freelancer work. So I'm going to be pretty busy in the near future, which is a good thing because, bills need to get paid. And I would like to eventually find a nice apartment in the city that I can call my own again. So anyway, and again, you guys support me too. You guys are a big part of what I'm able to do. So thank you. Let's move on here and let's move on to the next story. And here we go. Since we're talking about the Pixel, see, do you guys notice how I segue these articles? You guys don't know the behind the scenes that I do. We'll read through it. I'm like, okay, this will segue into this, and this will segue into that. You guys don't care, but I try to make it flow. I try to make it, a good hour plus, depends on how I'm feeling. But this article from Droid Life is talking about how Samsung just made me excited about the Pixel 5. And this actually is something I want to kind of chime in on because there's something I didn't realize until yesterday when I was reading this article. Or not yesterday, but I was reading a different article about what they're talking about here. So why is he excited about the Pixel 5 now? Or why did Samsung make him excited? A mostly uninteresting phone announcement from Samsung this morning did something unexpected. It got me pretty excited about a Google Pixel 5. I'm talking about the new Samsung Galaxy A71, a device that features a set of specs that are likely similar to what Google will show us with its next upper tier phone. So here's what I was going to chime in with. Yesterday, I think I had mentioned Galaxy A71 5G got announced for the States, and it's $600, but it's like the A71 that I just bought, the international version, except mine was only $365. Well, I was wrong. And I will admit when I'm wrong because it is not the same. I mean, yes, it has 5G, the new one, but it's a different chipset. Did you guys know this? So the $600 Galaxy A71 has a Snapdragon 765G chipset, which is the chipset that's going to be coming to the Pixel 5. Again, the same chipset that's in the LG Velvet right now. The chipset that should be coming out for the OnePlus Z. But yeah, the Galaxy A71 that I have has a Snapdragon 730 chipset, which is the same chipset that is going to be coming out for the, as George put it, the unicorn Pixel 4a, that who knows when we're going to see. Maybe it's going to come out one day, maybe not. So typically I find it hard to associate the level of any of Samsung's phones too closely with Google's Pixel line because their approaches to phones differ quite a bit. Samsung is one of those companies that throws everything they can into a phone at all price points, whereas Google does closer to the bare minimum to just barely fit itself into select categories. But the spec sheet and, most importantly, price of this A71 could help tell us where the next Google phone might drop in at. Okay, so here's the thing too. This is why I bought the Galaxy A71, the international version, the 4G version. And for the exact same reason that this article is talking about why he's excited about this 5G A71, because he wants to see how well it works, or at least get an idea of how well it works so that he knows what the Pixel 5 might be like. That's the reason I bought my A71 to see how well or how closely it could compare to what the Pixel 4a might be. I also got impatient waiting for the Pixel 4a. So I'm just like, forget it. I'll just buy this Galaxy A71 so I get an idea of how this Snapdragon 730 chipset works. And it's actually not bad. It is still not, super fast. And it does have a hiccup here and there, but it's not bad at all. Okay. So the Galaxy A71 sports a big full HD AMOLED display, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, 25 watt fast charging, quad rear camera, Snap 765G with 5G at a price of $600. Do I agree with that $600 price point? I don't. For the simple fact that if the OnePlus Z has the Snapdragon 765 chipset, with the same 6 gigs of RAM, with the same 128 gigs of storage, apparently it's going to have a 90 hertz refresh rate. I don't know how big the battery is going to be on it, but I'm sure it's going to be a decent sized battery. And people are saying that that price point might be anywhere from as low as $350 to $400. So that $600 price point doesn't really kind of sit well with me, because why would I buy that when I can get the OnePlus Z? So I will continue with this article, because he's saying he's getting excited because it's like, yeah, it has all this stuff and it's only going to be $700. And that's where I disagree with this article. So knowing Google, I'm not sure we should expect much. I'm not sure we should expect much more from the rest of the specs. So the battery could be smaller. The display might have a higher refresh rate, and the camera likely won't have 4 lenses, but I'd imagine the overall package will look closely to this. Again, this A71 costs just $600. Again, I don't agree with that statement. Just $600. Still think it's a little pricey. So here he says, I mentioned that a $700 Pixel 5 would be a really tempting phone, knowing the camera you'd be getting, as well as the performance and years of updates. And then they're talking about the survey when, that's how people came to the assumption that a $700 Google Pixel 5 might be coming. And it says here, I know that some of you may be disappointed by this idea that Google might not make an ultra high-end phone that competes with the S20 and top iPhone models, but they haven't proven that they can. The past 2 years of top-tier Pixel phones failed miserably because they couldn't offer matching experiences that their competitors were selling. Also, buying $1,000 phones really sucks right now, as the world's economy is on the verge of collapse. I'm excited about the idea of a $700 Google Pixel 5 that gives me the stuff I like about Google's previous phones, yet doesn't bring the hesitation that the Pixel 3 and 4 did, because those phones tried to be something they weren't. I'm still not on board. I'm not on board with this article, at least the last part of this article. I wouldn't be excited about a $700 Pixel 5 that has a Snap 765G chipset, especially knowing the fact that the OnePlus Z is going to come out for $350 to $400. Yes, we can sit here and we can argue the fact that the Pixel 5 is going to have a much better camera, which is most likely going to be the case. The Pixel 5 will probably have a great camera. How good is it going to be? I don't know. But here's another point I have to make, and I will drill this point down because I know there are probably people who are going to watch this who are like, Jerome, you're making a big deal out of this. $700 is fair. Is it though? Is it fair that would you buy 700? Would you pay $700 for this Pixel 5, knowing full well that the iPhone 12 will be coming out? The rumor, but if the rumors are correct, the iPhone 12, $650, which will have a much faster supporting, faster performance chipset, which will also be supported most likely longer, so we'll see as far as battery if the Pixel 5 is actually going to have a better battery this time. But I'm sure that the iPhone 12 is going to carry on from the iPhone 11 and still have a superb battery from it. Yeah. Is the UI the best? No, it isn't. And that's something I've made clear to many people. So that might be the only differentiating factor is how is the UI going to be? But the camera, right now, the iPhone 11 Pro is still, or the iPhone 11 still bests the Pixel 4 in the camera department, especially at night using night mode. So if it's hard for, it's not only that. So I don't know what the display is going to be on the Pixel 5 versus the iPhone 12, which is supposedly going to also have a much better display, an OLED display this time. Pixel 5 might have a higher refresh rate. So those are things to consider. But again, at a $700 price point, I think the Pixel 5 is already pricing itself out of competition where it doesn't need to. So if they were going to price it high, they might as well price it at $650. So at least it competes directly with the iPhone 12. If the camera on the iPhone 12 is going to be better than the Pixel 5, then you're going to hear me all day talk about how Google messed up again. If the battery isn't as good, or at least close to what the iPhone 12 or iPhone 11 offers in terms of battery life, you're going to hear me talk about it all day about how Google messed up again. I could go on about it. Who knows how good Face Unlock is going to be? Is it going to be good enough now that developers will make sure that Face Unlock works? Because my Chase app, I still can't unlock. I still can't unlock my Chase app with my face. I still can't unlock my Capital One app without with my face. I have to put my password in. And yeah, now it's auto complete, right? So it's as simple as just adding an extra tap, but it's still an extra step that I don't have to do on my iPhone. It's not something I worry about on my iPhone 11 Pro. I don't agree with the price. I'll take $650 if that's what they want to price it at. If the cameras will be superior to the iPhone 12, if the battery will at least come close to whatever the iPhone 12 brings. I want to be optimistic. I want to be the glasses half full kind of guy. I just don't know if I'm there right now with Google. The Pixel 4 was not, and it still isn't the best experience for me. And then hearing the news about the Pixel 4a, it just makes me question a lot of stuff that's going on right now. It really does. Okay. Let me get back into chat here. So Team Vry says, if the Pixel 4a launch is any indication, we might get the Pixel 5 in 2022. Hopefully not. If the Pixel 5 really does have the 765 5G chip, I'm not going to get it. There you go. I mean, like Jay Mills already just like standing his ground. He's like, well, that's not going to be the phone for me. So Deepak is saying, anyway, Google is DOA if it releases its Pixel in October. That's iPhone time. That's also a fair point. DV Cooper, hey, welcome to the stream, DV Cooper. Nice to see you. It's official. I'm waiting for the Pixel 6. Yeah, and I think a lot of people might feel the same way, because now people are, talking about that the Pixel 6 is going to have its own, Google's going to make its own chipset, so it can maybe have a better chipset that's more efficient. Probably, well, I'm assuming it's going to have better performance, and it might actually put the iPhone up, give it a run for its money in terms of the performance category. But I don't want to hope too soon, and like, speculate too soon because I don't really know where Google's going to go when it comes to that. Jake Forrester. Jake, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Nice to see you in here. YouTube and public media suck enough without their monopoly carriers fucking up too. This is why communication services should not be monopolized. Jake, I don't know if you just came into the stream and you just like, but yes, I completely agree. This is something that I fight about all the time. Jake Forrester, you are my spirit animal today because I feel the exact same way. I feel the exact same way. I don't look very highly on big corporations and their monopolistic ways. So I hear you 100%. You and I, we see eye to eye. But Jake, thank you for making the stream. Nice to see you. Adeni Ajayi, right? Did I say that right? I know I said it yesterday. Adeni, welcome to the stream again. Nice to see you again. Glad you can make it. Jay, well done. Your program is great, well informative. Thank you so much, Adeni. I've been trying. I've been getting better with these streams, I think, and it's coming quite natural to me at this point. George is saying, I agree. $700 is too much for a Pixel 5 with a mid-range processor. Yeah, I just couldn't buy it. I couldn't see myself buying it. I know George, and I know George is going to be picking up that 4A though, right? Am I assuming right, George? Like regardless of when it comes out. So if it comes out in October, will you still buy it? I'm guessing you would at a $350 price point. Actually, let me ask you, George, if the OnePlus Z is priced at $350 to $400, will you get that in July? And then will you also get the Pixel 5 or the Pixel 4A in October if it comes out then? I'm just curious. I'm assuming you would. Gboy888, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Long Beach, right? We used to be neighbors, right? Long Beach. Gboy888, welcome to the stream. I'd wait for a sale, pay a price of $400 to $500 for the Pixel 5 if it's really going to be released at $700. Great point. I know I should be better and just say I will not buy it on day one. But knowing me, I probably can't help myself, and I'll do it just like I spent $800 from a Pixel 4. I'll try though. No promises, but Gboy888, if anyone else is listening to this or seeing that in the comment section, he's absolutely right. I would wait. I'd wait for the price to drop and get it when it's better priced. Anyway, Gboy888, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. Jay Mill says, I respectfully disagree on that. The price is too high for the Pixel. So you think, wait, right? Is that what you're saying? So you think the $700 price is justified? You think that price is decent at that price point? I mean, I love that you have your you have your opinion on it, and I can see why people would think it would be priced fairly because you get stock Android. You'll probably get the best camera out of all of the Android phones out there. It's just a hard price for me to swallow. It really is. Adeni says Pixel 5 should be a great improvement on the Pixel 4 with wide angle camera and a great battery life. Otherwise, it'll be trash. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing: is like I think a lot of us want to see a wide camera or ultra wide or whatever. For me, I need them to make sure that the main shooter is their priority first and foremost. Get the main shooter right, make it shoot better photos than the iPhone 11, hopefully the iPhone 12. I just don't want them to put a wide angle or an ultra wide or whatever you want to call it on it and then sacrifice their main camera just because it's like, well, we gave you a wide angle, so what are you complaining about? You know what I mean? I want them to make sure that they improve on the optics of their main shooter before they decide to start adding other cameras to it or other lenses, because for me it's quality over quantity, and I want to call my Pixel phone the best camera phone for 2020 and not the iPhone again, but we'll see. So okay, so let's see here. Deepak says in-house chipsets are very good apart from Exynos. There you go. Lonky Games says, yo, Jerome. Hey, Lonky Games, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. I was just watching your previous TNT Joe fight, and you were talking about your second channel where you eat. What is it called? Yeah, you can check that out. you can check out my journey on my fasting journey. It is you can find me at Finally Fasting. So youtube.com/finally fasting is where you can find me if you want to check out that content there. There are a couple of people who are on that channel who found this stream here, which is surprising, and they're like, why are you not streaming for fasting? And I'm like, my audience is not big enough yet. I only started it about 2 months ago, and I'm at like almost 500 subs, but it's still growing, so we'll see. George is saying yes, 4A is for me. I knew it would be, and the OnePlus Z as well. Jay Mill says, yeah, I do, but you have to consider everything that Google has to offer, including Google Fi. I respect that. Yeah, no, and you know what, Jay Mill, I respect your opinion too, man. I mean, that's the thing is like, I say that all the time is I can sit here and I can give you guys how I feel about it, and I can feel very strongly about it, but in no way will I ever say, you know, because it's an opinion, right? I can tell you guys how I feel about something, but at the end of the day, we all have our feelings on products, how we feel about the company, how we feel about even the loyalty towards the company. So I sit here and I say that Apple's UI is garbage. I hate it. I don't like it. I say stock Android is the best thing ever. I don't want any other UI but stock Android. And like, and I say that proudly, and that's how I feel about it. But I will never, I respect your guys' opinions, all of your guys' opinions. It's always important to me to point out that even though I feel a certain way about things, you guys are always, I respect that you guys have different opinions, because why would we, the one thing I don't want on this channel is to have an echo chamber. I don't want to say something and then all of you guys like, yeah, Jerome is right all the time. It's, that's why I have my opinions on certain things. And that's kind of why I don't watch a ton of other tech channels, because I don't want to have that mindset, that mentality where it's like, oh, like everyone's saying the same thing, I should say the same thing. And I just don't want to be that person. So yeah, I hear you, man. Daniel Lubker. Hey, Daniel, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you, man. Glad you can make it. Nice to see you. Let me see here. Jay Mills saying, I was kind of wondering why Google was making its own chipset. Now I understand why. Can't wait to see what they have to offer. You know what I also can't wait for is when they make their own chipset, I am looking forward to seeing what they can do with their Chromebooks. That is actually, so I've been wanting a Chromebook for a while, but I can't buy one. I have a MacBook Pro now, but I can't buy one because I can't use Premiere Pro on it. I can't use Lightroom to edit my photos. And until they figure that out, I have to stay away. But it makes me excited to see them using a custom chipset for their own Chromebooks. That is what I'm kind of like, I'm waiting for the Pixel lineup as well. But I really want to see what what the Chromebook has to offer. I want to see what potential they could have with a Chromebook. I'm really looking forward to that. Lonky Game says, damn, Jerome, you've lost a lot of weight. Awesome job, man. Stay healthy. Yeah, I've lost. So the Jerome you see here, and it's funny because like if you guys don't check out my other channel, you really never get to see like the whole or if you don't check out my Instagram, you don't get to see like how skinny I've actually gotten. But yeah, I used to weigh right now I'm down 83 pounds. I used to weigh 220, and at one point I weighed 235. So I don't know what that is, guys, in kilograms, so I'm sorry, but 220 pounds, 235 pounds. And I'll also throw you guys off when it comes to height, but I'm short. I'm 5'3". So whatever that is elsewhere. So yeah, imagine me at 5'3" at 235 pounds. That is not, I was obese. I was really overweight at the time. And yeah, I've finally found something that works for me. So yeah, anyway, thank you, Wonky Games. Jay Mill says, well, it's true. Apple's UI is garbage. I mean, yeah, we could say that all day, but there's another half of the population who's going to disagree and feel differently. Daniel says opinions are like assholes. Everyone has a lot of them. Me especially. There you go, Daniel. Yeah, Jay Mill. Oh yeah, I forgot about their Chromebooks. Yeah. Chromebooks rock. Yeah, my mom has one. I got my mom a Chromebook because I was tired of fixing her laptop. because it was always ridden with viruses. And the Chromebook she's had for years now, and it still works great. She just uses it to like buy stuff on Amazon or push like something on the TV, or push like a YouTube video on the, from the Chromebook to the TV, or like some whatever Filipino like video she's watching that she can't push from her phone. She'll push it to the TV using her Chromebook, and it's nice. Yeah, she's had it for a while. She hasn't even had to upgrade on it. And I've used it too, just to mess around with it, and it still works really well. So, Paul says, Jerome, stock Android is the best. Oxygen OS, hold my beer. Yeah, you know what? That's a very good argument. I would actually love to make a video comparing that one day. I have so many ideas. I just don't have the time. I know people would get really upset if I made a video like that, because so Will, who's not in the chat here, we argue about the fact that the one thing that we don't like about Oxygen OS is it doesn't give us like some of the stock icons. So Will will always, it sucks that Will's not here. Will always complain that he hates the dialer on Oxygen OS. He wants the stock dialer that you can find on stock Android. And sadly enough, I feel the same way. I just want stock everything. Let me put it this way. Imagine if Apple, now we know this isn't going to happen, but just imagine if Apple decided to give iOS to another company, just like Android does. They decide, hey, we're going to make iOS available to Samsung. So imagine, the Galaxy, the iGalaxy, or whatever you want to call it. Imagine that Samsung creates a new Galaxy phone with iOS on it. Can you imagine how people are going to feel about it when Samsung gets their hands on it? And so like, maybe it's not the best way to compare, but think about OnePlus, right? So imagine if OnePlus got iOS. Imagine OnePlus's take on iOS, and imagine them changing certain icons. Imagine, the messages icon not being the same icon that you find on iOS. I can just see right now how upset the Apple community would be. And that's kind of how I feel about it when it comes to stock Android. I know it's a little thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It kind of gets under my skin. Just the same reason that when I use a Galaxy phone and I have to deal with Galaxy emoji, with Samsung emoji, I cannot. It makes me cringe, and I don't know why. I think it's just because I'm so used to stock Android's emoji that I don't like looking at anything else. I'm so used to like using that keyboard, and I'm just like, this is not the emoji. Is this the same one that's on Google, or is it the same emoji that I'm trying to, I don't know. Anyway, going a little off tangent there, but just thought I would bring that up. So J Mill says, congrats on the weight loss. Thank you, J Mill. Appreciate that. He also says, Google announced, I think last year, that they're going to support the Chromebooks for like 8 years. Really? Did they really say that? That's exciting. I love hearing that. I love knowing that they'll support stuff for much longer. Lucky Game says, you weighed the same as I did at my largest. 220 pounds is about 100 kilograms. I lost 121 pounds. Well, congrats, Lucky Games. That's great. That's awesome. But it was unhealthy. Okay, so I didn't get to that part. I've been there as well, though, so I understand, which is why I said stay healthy. But yeah, back to tech. Sorry. All good, Lucky Games. If you ever want to talk about that stuff, let me know. Lucky Games, I don't think you're on a higher tier, because I was going to say, we in my private Discord, we have a fasting channel, and like a lot of the fasting guys and girls in there, we talk a lot about just being healthy and fasting and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you read my mind when you said Apple selling iOS to Samsung. Why 2019? Hi, why? You're late today. Where are you? Do I give you a tardy slip? Y is usually the very first person on my stream, even before I go live. Y is usually in there. He's like, hi, hey, I'm here already. But Y, it's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time. Y, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. I know we're past the hour here, but we'll give it a little more time. I want to go through another story or two. Excuse me. So let me see here. Adani says stock Android is very smooth indeed, but I observed of late that One UI is also very good and they are closing the gap surprisingly. So yeah, on my A71, I use One UI and I like it. The only thing I don't like about it, Adani, is the app drawer. The app drawer. I like being able to just scroll up to get to all my apps on the app drawer. I don't like having to scroll from left to right to left. You know what I mean? To get to my apps, like going from screen to screen. That's the only thing I don't like about One UI. That can obviously be easily fixed using Nova Launcher or probably some other third-party OS launcher, skin, whatever you want to call it. But I agree. One UI isn't bad at all, especially how far it's come today at this point. Gboy888 says Chromebooks auto update in the background, so your mom's Chromebook is effortless. I know it is so simple. When I was living in Cali, Gboy888, I felt bad because sometimes my mom was having issues with the PC she has or other tech things, and or her phone. And I would always have to try to troubleshoot over the phone or on video chat. But not once in the years she's had that Chromebook has she ever complained about something not working on her Chromebook. She's always had a good experience with it. Paul Hendrick says, but I don't even know what the standard ones look like. I use Nova plus Icon Pack. There you go. So yeah, I mean, there you're already ahead of the game, ahead of the curve with all of that. So J Mill says, I got to run. Y'all be safe. Take it easy, Rome. J Mill, thanks for making it, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you being in the chat, engaging. Always means a lot to me, man. I'll see you soon. Maybe tomorrow. All right. So let's move on, guys. Let us talk about 5 surprising things we learned about the Android 11 beta. So we talked about this Android 11 beta, by the way. How many of you guys are on Android 11 beta? For anyone that has a Pixel 2 and newer, do you have it? I have it on my Pixel 4. It's pretty good. It has a couple of hiccups with some apps, but for the most part, Android 11 beta works pretty well. But I wanted to go through this article because there was a little clip from Dieter Bohn that I wanted to show you guys if you haven't seen it yet. So there's a little more going on than what Google announced with Android 11, and it's some pretty great stuff. So some of this stuff we've already talked about, or I've talked about, and I'll just kind of like lightly graze through that. But the 4 gigabit size limit for video recording has been removed. So now that's not an issue. So it says here, for a long time, Android has had a file size limit of 4 gigs whenever you record a video. That wasn't so bad when you were shooting a low bitrate 1080p video. But with 4K capable cameras, it meant that even a 15-minute video would be chopped into more than one file because it's too big. So that's been fixed. Great. Android 11 has a hidden recycle bin, which I didn't know, I wasn't aware of. If you've ever used Google Photos, you might know that deleting a photo or a video doesn't destroy it right away. Instead, there's a trash folder that stores them for 30 days just in case you change your mind. That I knew. It works the same way the recycle bin on a computer does, and now a similar feature is part of Android. So how does this work here? Apps that use Media Share API have 3 new features at their disposal. They can ask if you want to send media file to the trash, mark it as being in the trash, and set an amount of time before it's deleted permanently. There's a system-wide limit of 30 days for storing trashed media, but developers can specify a shorter length of time if they like. There's also a method to view trashed files, so it would be possible for a developer to build a recycle bin viewer app in case we want to know what's sitting there waiting. That's good to know. I don't know how user-friendly it's going to be. Okay, so Android 11 natively supports 84 new game controllers. This was new. I had no idea. I also am curious what kind of controller setup that is, because that looks kind of cool. Although I feel like that's really super wide. I don't know if I could use that. Your Android phone can connect to a game controller that not only works as a gaming controller, but also as a weird sort of mouse of you'd rather not touch the screen. I didn't know that. With some of the more intense and action-packed games coming to Android, using a controller can be a big help. I'm not a big mobile game person, but for anyone that is, that's good to know. There's a lot more support. So voice access can now understand what is displayed on your screen. Here's the thing. Voice access can now understand what is displayed on your screen instead of me, and hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this, but instead of me explaining or reading what this is, I want to show you how it works. So this tweet from Dieter, and I put it right on the mark here, is really good on how well it works. And I've never used it, but for anyone that might or anyone that needs to, I think it's a pretty awesome feature how well it works. So here we go. That's pretty good. Right? So yeah, I was actually really surprised. I've never used that feature. I guess I've never really had a reason to, but the fact that, I mean, it seems pretty advanced from what I'm seeing. I don't know how iOS works when it comes to something like that, but for anybody who needs that kind of support or that kind of accessibility, it seems like it works really, really well. I would be more curious to see how well it worked compared to Android 10 versus Android 11. I mean, I guess I could try it if I ever went back to Android 10, or maybe I could use another phone that has Android 10. But yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I think it's a pretty nice feature that the Android team's been working on. And why wouldn't you have something like that, especially for people who need, those kind of accessibility features? Okay, so what is the last thing here? It says Android 11 forces apps to support being backed up, just not to the cloud. Yep, you read that right. Apps targeting Android 11 are forced to support a local storage backup, but not a Google Cloud storage backup. Android offers a complete backup infrastructure, but you wouldn't know it if you switch phones a good bit. I didn't know this. Hidden in your Google Drive account is free storage space that gives every app its own 25 megabyte of space to store things like settings or game progress data. If you use a lot of apps, you have probably encountered a few that use the service and instantly wish the rest of your apps did too. But there's another backup that can be done through ADB. Uh, and so it locally creates a backup and saves it to your computer, which I didn't know, which I think is pretty cool too. The thing is, developers didn't have to support it either. Using it usually just reinstalled apps without any of their associated user data. In Android 11, backup files will actually work. Don't get too overjoyed though. Apps must target Android 11, and we all know how that'll play out. It's always cool to find out about the things that Google doesn't tell us when Android gets an update. And since we're only at the first beta build, lists like this one are only going to grow, and we'll see more unknown or at least not highlighted Android features. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good showing. Sorry, I meant to switch it here. I think it's a pretty good showing of what Android 11 is capable of. And hopefully, when updated betas come, we get a little more. And I'm sure there are still hidden features or hidden things that people haven't found yet. And whenever that comes out, I'll be sure to share that with you guys as well. So, okay. Let me kind of close it off here with this HTC. And I think I see Y talking about it here, so we'll go through it real quick. Y says, Jerome, did you already talk about the HTC U20 and Desire 20 Pro? No, but here you go. Team Verizon says, to be honest, I'm still on the fence about installing the 11 beta on my 3A. I heard there are still some certain bugs. There are. And I've experienced some bugs where apps are just closing on me and then I have to reopen it. But so far I've only noticed that on Telegram. I don't know if I've noticed it anywhere else, but yeah, if you're still hesitant about it, I wouldn't install it. Just kind of like hold off. Maybe they'll have a new update for the beta soon. Team Vari also says that controller support feature seems neat. It does. I'm not a mobile gamer, but for anyone who wants to have an advantage on other people who mobile game, I think having a controller is really the way to get a leg up. So this article from Phone Arena, the HTC Desire 20 Pro and U25G are official. HTC is back in the game, or is it? I got this article from Mike, Simply Your Device. Well, I don't know if he's called that anymore. I watched his last stream and I think he changed his name to Joker Tech. Anyway, Simply Your Device, Joker Tech, Mike, gave me this article, and I was wondering why they're saying, well, why would it not be back in the game if they have a new phone out? After months of rumors, leaks, and speculations, HTC has finally launched new smartphones. Yes, that's plural. Although we did expect the second model to be released at some point this year, the reveal of the U20 5G alongside the Desire 20 Pro was a bit of a surprise. The announcement isn't as big news as you might expect because HTC is currently only releasing the devices in Taiwan. Still, we think they're worth talking about. I wonder why they're just releasing it in Taiwan and nowhere else. Do they have a bigger market there? Do they know people buy HTC phones there? Or is it because they're manufactured there and it's just easier to distribute? We have two phones on our hands, and at first glance, they look pretty similar. So let's just talk about what they have in common first and then see what sets them apart. Despite what the picture might lead you to believe, the Desire 20 Pro and the U25G don't share the same body. The 5G device is actually slightly larger, but we'll discuss that in the differences section. However, it's safe to say that the two phones look pretty much identical apart from the different finish of the rear panel. The design is, well, decent. On the front, we have a flat punch hole displays and a slightly thicker bottom bezel, a pretty standard mid-range Android look for 2020. And that's perfectly fine. On the back, a quad camera setup in a camera bump that's as compact as possible and a fingerprint sensor. No thrills, but also no weird design decisions here as well. Both the 20 Pro and the U25G are rocking the same rear camera system. Okay, so same cameras, 4 sensors, main, ultra wide, macro, depth. The usual portrait mode and night mode are on board, as well as 4K video recording. We can't comment on the quality since all we've seen so far are the standard marketing shots. So a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is huge. Neither has a 90 hertz refresh rate. And then so the differences between the Desire 20 Pro and the HTC U25G is, okay, so the 5G capable device is the bigger one, 6.8-inch display, 20:9 aspect ratio. The Desire 20 Pro is a 6.5-inch, lighter as well. So if we look at the specs, you'll see here that the U25G is using the Snapdragon 765G, which is, again, what we might be seeing in the Pixel 5, what we might be seeing in the OnePlus Z, what we are seeing right now in the LG Velvet, and just another or a big amount of other phones at that point. So the U25G is the higher end version versus this Desire 20 Pro. 6 gigs of RAM versus 8, 128 gigs of internal versus 256. The front camera looks like it's higher resolution as well, or just higher megapixels. A higher tier SoC, 2 more gigs of RAM. We just talked about all of this stuff. So it says here, even Google is rumored to go for the Snap 765G for its Pixel 5. Oh, they're just comparing, saying it's going to be the same chipset as whatever this U25G is going to be. All around, the two HTCs are well equipped to handle anything you might throw at them. The 20 Pro even has headphone jack, so that's nice. But it's not going to be on the U25G. Okay, so this shows HTC is taking things seriously with this release. Seriously, though, or are they serious if they're only releasing it to one country? Or maybe it's just the initial release and they'll eventually release it to other places, including the US? Because I mean, it looks like a fairly straightforward phone. Could be decent. I don't know. I haven't owned an HTC device in a long time. But there's also no price so far for the U25G, the higher end version. The Desire 20 Pro, on the other hand, will go on sale in Taiwan and only there on June 18. Its price converts to roughly $300 US. For comparison, the similarly priced Moto G stylus comes with only 4 gigs of RAM and 4,000 milliamp hour battery, but has a stylus. If HTC ever decides to return to the US, it might be able to win over some long lost fans with the right strategy. But for now, let's see how these two phones will be accepted by the public. Yeah, so exciting to see. When Mike sent it to me, I was like, okay, well, but only here in the US, or only in Taiwan. So I don't know. What do I think of it? It would be nice if it came here. I mean, I don't know how good these cameras are going to be. I haven't really messed with an HTC device in a long time, but yeah, I guess all I ever say, I feel like all I ever say at the end of these is we'll see. Yeah, who knows? We'll see. Why 2019 says the Pixel 5 should come at 2021. Oh my God. You know how many people would be upset already with the Exynos AP instead of the 765G? Why were you here when I talked about the 775G? Did you see that? So they're saying Qualcomm is having an announcement tomorrow, and they're saying that they will probably be announcing a new version of the Snapdragon, and it'll be the 775G, which is, they said, 40% better in performance, and then I think 50% better in graphics than the 765G, which is crazy because it's like now it's really making the 765G outdated at this point. Oh, there you go. Why says because HTC is from Taiwan. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Now I know. Will I remember in the future? I don't know. But that does make sense. George says, both phones looked interesting, but my first thought was, will it be released in the US or anywhere else? And no pricing as yet that I've seen. You're right. Right now, I'm watching you on my iPhone, my computer, and my TV. Why are you watching me on 3 different platforms? I mean, thank you. Maybe it helps the algorithm if you do that, but why are you watching me on 3 things? Overabundance of Jerome. It sounds about right. Unless like I'm on like 3 different areas of where you're at, then yeah. But thanks for the support, George. I appreciate it. Okay, guys. With that being said, I think we might be wrapping up here. Real quick though, before I do my spiel of like whatever is, if you guys are watching, I know there are some of you who are watching and lurking, and that's all fine and good. But if you guys haven't had a chance, please feel free to like the stream. Liking the stream helps me algorithmically, aka I think it helps people find the stream. Maybe it helps get people in here to talk and chat, have a conversation. And I always love having a conversation and, seeing what else is going on and getting people's thoughts on things. And with that being said, I also stream weekdays every day, Monday through Friday. If you guys don't know, at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And again, every day, 2 p.m. on the dot. That is now my consistent time frame. And I've been pretty punctual with that. I haven't missed a day yet in over a week, which is a good thing. And I want to stay punctual. So you guys know I will always be here at 2 p.m. Central for at least 3 p.m. Central and longer, depending on what, I'm already here an hour and a half. So there we go. And real quick, if you guys have noticed in the chat, there are some people in chat with green in their name. They also have a red Chicago star next to their name, and that is because they are a member of, I'm always forgetting what I call it. They're a member of the Phone Jerome fam. And you can be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. You will get the green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago loyalty badge next to your name, and you'll get to use custom emoji. You'll also get your name on the intros and outros of every single one of my live streams. And you can do so for as little as 99 cents a month. There are different tiers as well if you're interested. Those tiers give you other access, like access to a private Discord, premiere videos, which I haven't really put out lately, but I got to figure that out if I even have the time to do a lot of that stuff lately. Again, all you got to do is click the join button. And if you cannot find that, you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. If you can't do either of those things, it's all good. No worries. Either way, your support means a lot to me, and I appreciate you guys just coming in. Without you guys, without you guys, I would still be doing it, but it's always so nice to have support here and have people who actually want to have a good conversation and talk tech, and that means a lot to me. So George is saying I'm moving around my apartment as I'm doing things. Well, thank you, George. Thank you for taking the time to support and watch and even chime in when you can. Y says 775G. I have also heard about it before. There you go. Jerome Squad sounds better than Phone Jerome Fam, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it just, you know what? I think about the PH and phone and then phone fam. But I know you know what? I always feel like squad is overused at this point, and so that's kind of why I omit squad. But I don't know. I'm just trying to find something consistent. But thank you for your feedback. Why it is it's appreciated. So again, with that being said, guys, I will be back tomorrow streaming again, 2 p.m. Central. Let's do it again. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, for liking, for subscribing. I want to thank all my patron members. I also want to thank all of my members on YouTube. You guys going that extra length to support. And then for people who super chatted, like George today, like Brian, you guys super chatting just to help offset costs and just ensure that I get to do this every day means a lot to me, and I cannot be more thankful for that. So thank you guys so much. Come back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. We'll do it again. Whether or not I have the stories, we'll see. But I love chatting with you guys. I love talking about tech, having you guys have questions and all that good stuff. So here is my wave, and I'm gonna keep waving until I transition out. So bye, guys. Have a good one. Oh no, I can't find. There we go. Bye.